guys? It is the Cook and the Coach podcast.
I'm Kenny. I'm the cook.
I'm Baeza. I'm the coach. Welcome again, listeners. We are excited to have you back. Got my pop filter back on, so higher quality audio.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I got my Monster Energy drink because I know a few of you have said that I have been low energy in a few of these episodes, so I'm bringing the fucking energy, man. Yes. We're going to rock and roll here, okay?
Hell yeah, dude. I have my decaf red berries tea from Tea Source.
Well,
I'm also
that's
ready
not
to go.
as exciting, but you know.
Dude.
But here we are.
Clearly you haven't tried red berry tea. It's so good.
Clearly I haven't. God
damn. It's one of my favorites. Have you ever tried Tea Source tea?
I haven't. I've heard good things. But I just haven't made the jump yet.
Dude, it's so good. It's like a loose leaf tea. So you would need like a little something to, let it steep in, but it's the best. Sure. I have a few of them. When actually, it's almost like a year to, well, slightly more than a year to when we got like quarantined initially for everything. And early on, I stocked up on loose leaf tea. Like I bought so
of
much.
all things.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like some people were making bunkers, and I just got like ounces on ounces of various teas from Tea Source. And so I went back and got more the other day, and I'm so happy I did. It's so good. A lot of like the local coffee shops will use Tea Source, at least in the cities.
See, it's weird because it's pretty much been exactly a year since like full lockdown.
I know.
It's just weird. It's just weird to think about it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, is the weather putting you in a good mood? It's putting me in such a good mood lately.
It's putting me in a good mood, but it's also putting me like in, not nostalgic, but like reminding me of last year of shutdown. So it's kind of like a eerie feeling. It's like last time I felt like this outside.
Oh, that's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel that way about the fall. Like, the fall used to be my favorite season. And then, like, I had 4 awful falls in a row. Like, I had my one and only breakup. I lost a job. My grandpa died. I think I lost another job. Other, like, problems with, like, COVID, I think. Just, like, so many problems. And so now when the leaves are falling, it's like everything is dying. Like entropy. Like all I could think about is like sad shit.
Dude, I remember that fall when we lived together.
Yeah, that was a
rough
shitty
fall for you.
That was into I think year 2 of my shitty falls. That was a bad fall, man. You remember. It was so stressful.
There's stuff with your grandpa and your work
dude.
and stuff. And then I remember like coming home one night and like you were literally just like sitting on top of your car looking at like the sky for like 2 hours straight. I'm like, is he gonna off himself? Is he okay? That's when like go and like talk to him. Like, what's going on?
Literally, I sat on the top of my car.
And just, like 2 weeks before that, you and me got in a big fight. Like 2 weeks before that too, which didn't help either.
Oh
like
yeah.
It was a whole
dude.
Debacle,
Yeah, that was a crazy. Yeah, that fall was really crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that was a whole thing. Yeah, literally that night I remember I was out there late enough that I saw like a nocturnal beast because we were in Fridley and we're like a few blocks from a big lake, and yeah, I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell if it was a coyote or I don't know. It kind of walked.
A big possum.
Maybe a big possum, maybe a raccoon, but I think it was a coyote. And I was happy because I was like, I think I had gotten down from on top of my car, and then I got in my car and like was playing music in my car because just I had to like get in my feelings or something. And then an animal like came up close. Like if I had been sitting on the driveway still or on top of the car, it would have like come up right to me. And then it walked, and then I feel like if I remember correctly, it walked like the 2 legs like a bunny kind of, so like the 2 front feet would go in and the 2 back like would come into, kind of like that, kind of like a hop sort of thing.
Okay.
So I don't know what kind of animal does that. But
are you making this animal up, or is this something you hallucinated?
No, I couldn't. Maybe I hallucinated.
Were you in your feels so much to start hallucinating?
Yeah,
animals that don't exist.
Dude, where I was creating my own beasts of the night. No, but yeah, I remember I saw it under like a street light. That was a creepy street, by the way. In the nighttime.
Well, we had the wizard that lived in the street.
We straight up had a wizard on the street, and he had a robe. He was like Gandalf.
We called him Gandalf. Yes, we said the first time we saw him. We're like, that's Gandalf.
Yeah.
And we see literally every day. We see him like walk by at like 4 p.m. Just walk in the street to the gas station and then walk back every single day like clockwork. It was crazy.
And what's crazy too is I think he was like, if we looked out our front window, he was like a couple houses to our left, but like several blocks down, he would sometimes walk to a house down there, like late at night, and then come back down there, and then he would go the other way to the gas station. But it was like, I don't know if he had two houses or just had a buddy down the street, but he would walk everywhere.
I don't know, man. I think I want, before I die, I want to know what happened to that guy, or what that guy's deal is. Like, what does he do for work? Does he even have a job? Like, is he just casting spells a day? Like, what does this man do?
Yeah, man.
We know anything about him except that he had a whole wizard outfit. He had a beard that was at least 2 feet long. Like,
yeah, he did have a beard. I remember that. Yeah, and the guy, like, he was about it. Like, he would, I think, he mowed his lawn in his, didn't he? Like, he mowed his lawn in his gown or whatever. Like, he did everything in that.
Did all his yard work in the gown. I mean, we never saw him out of costume or character.
No, if I saw him in jeans, I would probably have a heart attack. Like, I wouldn't be prepared to see that.
I would actually respect him less, to be honest.
Me too, because it's like, oh, you just do this sometimes?
Oh, you're not really committed. But the fact that he committed, it made me respect him.
Do you think that a guy like that, like, because he probably has some sort of like code or like way of going through his life. Do you think that he takes a day off, like a Halloween? Like, do you think he celebrates Halloween and dresses up as something else?
No. Halloween, he leans harder in. He has to.
But do you think he'd be? I wonder if he thinks that would be making a mockery of his lifestyle.
No, I think. Actually, you know what? That raises a good point. You might be right about that, Ken.
Because maybe he's like, I'm sick of everyone calling me a wizard, and he puts on like he dresses like Bruce Springsteen or something just to.
Nah, but you know what it is? You know how fake Christians or non-believers, whatever you want to call them,
Sure.
like Christmas, they like pretend to be into it.
Yeah.
But like the real Christians who are like really like about it, they lean to Easter. They lean into Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like
Definitely.
with like a wizard like him, he's probably making potions. He's doing spells. He's getting together with his witch girlfriend and his other wizard friends on Halloween. They're having a little powwow session.
Yeah.
Pentagrams on the floor, the whole shit.
Did he have a dog? I kind of remember him having a pet. Did he have a dog? Or am I making that up?
I want to say he did, but I don't remember for sure. Maybe
It sounds right, though, right?
I think he was like playing like tricks on us. You have like a fake dog that was like visible to only us.
Maybe that animal that I saw was like a creature he made
It was
with
a dog,
potion.
and it was a werewolf. It became a werewolf on a
Yes.
knife, and you saw the werewolf.
That's it.
We figured it out.
Oh shit! He was a werewolf.
He was a werewolf,
Oh my god,
dude. You saw a werewolf that night.
Oh my god.
And it was October. It was probably a full moon. Because I remember
the moon being bright.
Because Halloween was like a full moon was like a week before Halloween that year or something like
Yeah,
that. It was around the same time.
the night sky was pretty bright. I remember that. But that's dude. That's it. I gotta say though, dude. We already solved it.
We already solved it. It's done.
But it's done. The street though, like it's weird when a street doesn't have like any lights. Like I'm from the east side of St. Paul, and like it's maybe a little sketchy, but every like however many feet there's another like lantern.
You can see it at night.
It's well lit. Whereas a lot of suburbs, like they're super dimly lit. It's like kind of scary to go around them sometimes.
I know what
At
you
night.
mean. And I grew up in the suburbs my whole life. But even like our street in Fridley like was particularly like sketchy.
Yeah, there was
Not even like
maybe
sketchy.
one light.
I won't say sketchy because sketchy implies like it's dangerous. But
Like crime
there
or
was
something?
like an eerie feeling about the street.
Yeah, it was
Just
a little
something
bit eerie.
ominous about it, you know?
Oh, well, we did have those. Yeah, we had those neighbors across the street. Remember that? Now I'm remembering that actually was. Yes. Yeah, we had. So that's maybe a reason that it was kind of sketchy.
I mean, what are you
No?
gonna do? It's gonna.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
what are you
so.
gonna do?
Maybe. Yeah,
If anyone should be
that's
worried, it
the
should
vibe
be
we're
me.
picking up.
You guys are fine.
Dude, I was thinking back the other day. This is so out of nowhere, but remember when we watched Get Out at my house?
Yes.
And you hadn't seen. I had seen it once, and you came over to the East Side and we watched it together. Do you remember what happened after that?
Remember, I was scared shitless for like an hour after, but I don't remember what happened.
No, but there was one thing I okay, so we had this double lock system on the door, like going out of the house. So I was like walking you out,
Yeah.
but it was double locked, and you couldn't figure out how to get the second lock to
Oh, I
work.
remember this.
And I was like, as you were struggling with it, maybe you were getting a little jittery, and I was like, I can't let you leave, Baez. And you like started. You got so scared.
Well, it doesn't
was so
help
funny.
that I'm at my friend's house, lives in a black neighborhood, but it's
Yeah.
a family of like 20 white people in one
Yeah.
like small little shack.
Yeah, at
like-
night.
And we're watching
Yeah,
it in
dude.
the basement with like creaky stairs and stuff. Like nothing was helping the mood of the situation.
No, it was so funny. I think
Yeah,
about
man.
that like maybe once every 3 months, and I laugh. It's so fun. One of my favorite pranks.
Simpler times, man.
Simpler times. But yeah, dude, I'm in such a good mood with the weather. It's been so good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I feel like up until college, like through college, I was like a through and through winter guy. I
Really?
love the winter months. Summer, meh. I don't care. But I feel like since college ended for me, I feel like now like it's kind of flip flopping. Not that I hate winter by any means. Like I still find things I love about winter.
Yeah.
But like I find myself for the first time in my life, like in my mid-20s, like super excited for summer every time. And I think part of it too is because I found like certain things like to do during the summer, like Okoboji and for the 4th, and like cookouts
Yeah.
during football practice and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just weird, man. I feel like I look much more forward to like warm months now than I
feel
did
that.
before in the past.
I think I probably I do a little bit more too. Yeah, like I'm more excited to get out of, like we've each had 25 winters. You know, it's like that's a lot of winters.
It's a lot colder.
Yeah, it is. How did you like Arizona? You were saying you enjoyed it.
It was
your
it
trip?
was colder than I thought it was gonna be.
Really?
Dude, it was like 50, 60 like every day, except for the Sunday. It was like 75 out. But other than that, it was like 60 every day. So it was like, wasn't cold, but it wasn't like warm either.
That is weird.
So we got to Lake Havasu, and like we have like the nice like probably the nicest price to like what you get ratio in all of Airbnb history.
Oh wow.
Because we paid like maybe $50 for each night there, but
Like per person.
yeah.
Okay.
But the backyard has like this gigantic pool with a full-on waterfall. Our own like little like beach that's like 30 by 30 feet, like an actual like beach that's like fenced in, and then like a whole like fire pit, like wooden bar made of like palm wood or whatever. Like
Wait, so
nicest
they like what, like shipped in a bunch of sand and
Yeah.
like made a beach?
yeah, literally.
Wow. And just like on the back of the property, so you could like set up like you would be on a regular beach and then just go into the pool like it was the lake
Yeah.
or the ocean.
Exactly. With a
I've
waterfall
never
going
heard of
to
that.
it.
I've never heard
They
of
had
that
like
before.
lifeguard chairs that were like 20 feet high there too, and
Sure.
like the roof was like small enough so like you could like jump over the waterfall into the pool from the roof. Like it was like a whole thing.
Oh wow.
But we couldn't swim because it was too cold.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
That is too. You guys didn't even
Yeah,
try?
man. No, it was too cold. It was literally too cold.
Oh.
Like
Was
we're
it, like,
Minnesotans.
sunny?
So if it's
Was
too
it-
cold for us, that means it's
Yeah.
really too cold.
True. Was it sunny at least, or was it just kind of?
Yeah, it was mostly sunny.
Cloudy?
Like it only
Okay.
rained for like half of one of the days, but that was it. So it wasn't no big deal. But yeah, man. But still lots of fun though. Lots of fun, lots of good times.
That's good.
Yeah, you guys want to see what happens to me in Arizona? You go see my vlog that's on YouTube right now at Baeza, BAEZATNSAIE. Whole vlog's up there, 20-minute video. It shows you everything I did that weekend. Good times, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hell
man.
yeah, dude. That's great.
Hell yeah. Should we get to the segments, Kenny?
Oh yeah, let's do
Is
it.
it time?
Do you wanna go first, or should I?
Yeah, man. I'll go. Yeah,
Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner, guys. Coach's Corner. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. A lot of people, I think more than ever, has been like hitting me up in the DMs about like personal training and stuff, which I really don't do. I only like personal train a very few amount of people. I think at some point in the future, I might go to personal training because there's demand for it, and I know I can make not crazy, but I could make some money,
Yeah.
from doing that. So
Right.
that might be in the cards later. But that's either here or there. But I don't need personal training often. But people have been asking me, um, like, how do I say this? People ask me like how to get like in shape for the summertime, right? Because it is March. People are on spring break. They want to get that body right. They say, "Oh, I got a wedding in May. I got July 4th plans. I got this. I got that. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be sexy. It's gonna be Corona overtime." Like,
Yes.
people need to get out. They need to get their bodies hot. They need to go do whatever.
Yeah.
So they asked me like, "What workout plan should I go on? What diet plan should I go on?" And let me say this: if you're looking for just purely aesthetics, number one thing you should be concerned about is the weights. Yes, if you want mixing some cardio here, mixing some cardio there, do this, do that, cool. But if you want to get like the proper like body that you want, like 9 times out of 10 when you talk to people about the body they want guys, they want, shoulders, chest, arms, right? Girls, what they want? They want the slim waist and the fat butt. You're gonna get that by lifting the weights. You're not gonna get that by doing the cardio for an hour a day. It's just you'll lose some weight. You'll be slimmer, but you're not gonna have the proportions. You're not gonna have the muscle mass that you want to have. Number one thing for both men and women, weights all day. Number two part with the diet. Diet is something that is very much based in genetics and is very much differentiates from person to person. For some people, vegan is the way to go. Personally, I don't think most people should be vegan at all, but there is a population out there where it works great. Keto. I think keto is a wonderful thing. I think that the average person would benefit from trying it out, if not staying with it long term. But it's not for everyone either. Having carbohydrates is the main fuel source. That's what I've been doing for the past year or so. I loved keto for a time. I was doing keto, and it worked for me then. But for what I'm trying to do now, my goals now, I need carbs, and carbs are working great for me. So I go with carbs, and it's great. Some people like to fast. I also fast as well. Fasting's, ever since I started fasting, I never stopped because it's just the way my body works, and I love it the most. So, but for other people, it won't work. My thing is this. With diet, I would highly suggest starting off with the basic, have carbs as your fuel source, moderate protein, low fat. And then once you've tried that for, say, 2-3 months and you kind of get the gist down, then if you're curious about trying vegan, try vegan for a month. If you're curious about trying keto for a month, try keto for a month. And then just see how your body feels and what it's like. And when you know when something works, you'll know. It won't be like, well, I lost weight, but I wasn't sure. No. When you know what's going to work for your body, you're going to know for sure. So those are my two main things. Then the last little piece I have is people are wondering, listen, Ken, you know what's on me. I'm not alcoholic. I like to drink, though.
You can drink. Yeah.
Nothing better than a nice cold beer on a Saturday night. Am I right? So people are wondering, can I drink alcohol and cut weight for the summer, get in shape for the summer? Yes and no. You can consume alcohol and still approach your goal, but just understand that's going to take getting to your goal a little bit longer. So you got to decide for yourself. Hey, do I want to drink alcohol, maybe once a week and then get to my goal later on? Or do I want to see that result quicker and more efficiently and feel better about myself and cut the alcohol out? That's on you. You got to decide for yourself. And also people need to realize this too, and this is a little tidbit. This is a fact that most people don't know. Alcohol, so ethanol, which is, what makes an alcohol beverage, the ethanol in alcohol, is actually a macronutrient. So people measure macronutrients. It's proteins, fats, and carbs, right? 4 calories for protein, 4 calories for carbohydrates, 9 calories, for fat. Ethanol, which is an alcohol, is 7 calories. People don't recognize that. So when they go out drinking, they have some beers, some cocktails, whatever. They'll count like the sugars and stuff that goes into it, whatever. But they're not counting the alcohol itself. If you want to properly track your calories, your caloric intake, the alcohol is going to be a part of that equation too. Has to be. Now, if you want to...
People cheating on that.
People cheat on that. They don't realize that. Like even a vodka water. Like in the summertime when I try to cut weight, I drink vodka waters, right? But I know that vodka water that I have, that's about 8-10 ounces, is about 80 calories. And I have to count that into my diet. So you can't cut corners like that. So that's my advice. That's the coach's corner. So the weights, trial and error for food, and then track the alcohol. That's what I got for you guys this week.
Love it. Okay, so for Kenny's Kitchen for today, so I have a recommendation for people. More people are getting vaccinated. More people are starting to meet up again. Things are starting to open up, even just socially in general. And so kind of a two-parter here. So one, more restaurants are going to be opening up again. They're going to be getting more patio stuff, especially now. Any restaurants that have been able to hold on like through this year and they have a patio, they desperately need your support if you like their businesses. It's just true across the board. So like definitely consider that. So if a restaurant is supporting like dine in or like a patio and you feel safe and comfortable doing that, definitely support. This is the time where restaurants are calculating like, okay, this season might be able to save us and get us through to this next section. Maybe we can keep doing payroll. Maybe we can keep paying like, all of the various overhead costs that are associated with running a business like that. So keep that in mind. Restaurant margins are real tight, so it's something to consider. Every business has, most businesses have struggled like crazy during all of this, but I think restaurants are definitely one of the ones where they're not. It's part of this whole larger conversation about how much a restaurant should charge for food in general. There's a movement right now to eliminate tips from the overall cost to the patron. So when you go to a restaurant, a lot of restaurants aren't asking you to tip the servers or like tip the staff. They're including a charge, like a service fee, in that overall like receipt that you get. And the idea for this is basically like, how do you make sure that excuse me, the red berries, is basically a conversation about like, how do you make sure that everyone on the restaurant team is being paid fairly and like reasonably. So for example, like front of house, like servers usually make a lot more money than the back of house people who are like cooking all the food. And that's kind of just like a discrepancy where it's like, there's a lot of laws and regulations about what a server is allowed to do like with their tip money. Like, so for example, the server's manager, at least in Minnesota, I'm assuming it's elsewhere too, like the server's manager isn't allowed to go to the server and say, hey, in order to make it fair for the back of house, like the cooks and the chefs, the dishwashers, all those people, we're going to divvy up your tips equally, because obviously if you didn't serve the food, like you would have nothing to serve if it wasn't for them. Like legally, you're not allowed to do that.
Interesting.
So there's already like, so starting off, there's already like this kind of tricky imbalance in terms of like how the staff is paid. And people are trying different things. Like, so for example, at Union, I believe we're doing like a service charge now, and some of the cool restaurants in the cities are doing that as well. Kind of stepping away from the tips. Another issue though, and this is where it gets really tricky, especially when something like a pandemic hits and kind of makes everyone really evaluate how they're spending their money in general. I find that a lot of creatives don't really know how much to charge for their work, to charge for their, how much money they're going to get for what they do. And I think that kind of permeates the food industry in a lot of ways, where it's like you're trying to cook for as many people as you can. You're trying to sustain a business. And you might have this idea like, oh, we're lucky to even like get people to come in and buy the food. But if you don't charge enough money, like you're going to just have like a lower like paycheck, a smaller paycheck ultimately. And so that's also, there's this other pressure on the other side where it's like the restaurant actually might not be charging enough money for the food that's being served. Well, then there's a whole nother problem that develops. Like if if every restaurant costs more to go to, people are probably not going to go to as many restaurants. So that means some restaurants probably are going to die and go away. So it's kind of this whole tricky like level setting thing.
Sure.
I find that kind of stuff really interesting because I'm interested in like, those types of businesses and like how I can learn more. But yeah, just in general, for the businesses that you really like, particularly the restaurants and like the cafes, coffee shops, all that, definitely consider supporting them. This is the season that they're really hoping they can like kind of start to make up for some of the real losses that they took over the past year. The other fun thing is like as things are getting warmer, as like the seasons change and people like it's a little bit safer for people to hang out and everything, you might be wanting to like host something and like cook. And something I find is a problem with a lot of people who try to host events or like cook for large groups of people. They just don't have like the literal kitchen equipment to make that like seamlessly happen.
Right.
So like you're cooking, like for example, you're marinating, like say you want to serve like grilled chicken thighs or something, or like chicken drumsticks or something like that. It's like, and you're trying to marinate all of those. Well, if you're just doing it for your like a small group of friends or for yourself, you would only need a small little container to do that in. But if you're doing for like 2, 3, 4 times that many people, it's like, how do you even like consider, like, where do you put all the food? What do you do? So one thing I really like to do is check out like restaurant supply stores. And so for example, like people may have heard of businesses like US Foods, Restaurant Depot's another big one. Basically, these are businesses that will like provide a lot of tools and sometimes also ingredients and such to the restaurants that they partner with. But what's cool is some of these stores also have like little outlet stores or like smaller locations that are available for people who aren't running a restaurant. So for example, like in the Twin Cities, there's at least one US Foods location in Roseville, and you can go there and you don't need to have like a proof that you run a restaurant, like a card or a certification or a membership. You can just go in and look around and you can see all of these like restaurant grade tools that you could actually use in a professional setting. So like, for example, you can have, like I have this enormous cutting board that I use for larger events. I've purchased these really large Cambros, and a Cambro is basically just a really big Tupperware container just for like much larger portioning. So I would definitely recommend. Oh, another great example, like those silver mixing bowls that you might see, or whatever the material is, just like the shiny metal ones. Those are often found there too. So I would just recommend people, if you're thinking about hosting larger groups and you're stressed out about the idea of preparing for that, it might be part of it might be the tools that you have just might not be cutting it for you in the past. So check out a restaurant supply store and see what you can find. So that's my advice for this week.
Now, Ken, I want to ask you about the whole service charge thing because
Yeah.
if you know me, I'm against the idea of tipping. I think tipping's stupid. But I understand. I do it though because I understand. Like, look, these bartenders, servers, whatnot, they're not making shit. So help a brother out. So I get it. So I do it. I'm personally, it's against my morals, but I do it.
Sure.
But obviously it's a pandemic. Things are crazy. So you put a couple extra bucks, in the tip for you.
Yeah.
With this whole service charge thing, do you think that might start leading the way to an era where tipping is no longer a thing and we just do the service charge deal eventually? Or you think that tipping will come back, it'll be back to normal economy?
It's like a hotly debated conversation. I think that I would like to see that happen where it becomes more of a service charge thing, because I think ultimately then the business that is the restaurant is charging a more reasonable rate for their product and everything that goes into making and serving that product. So it's like the product is, if you're a restaurant, the product is like the experience of the restaurant. It's the food. It's maybe the community that you're being involved in. And it's also like the service from the bartenders or the servers, right? Like a lot of restaurants and bars aren't like when you go into a restaurant or bar, a lot of them aren't charging you the amount of money it would take to really make that maybe the most fair deal for everyone involved in that process. So like tipping in that sense, like I totally see it. It's like, yeah, this is kind of dumb, but like they're not really making much. Let's try to like show appreciation and stuff like that. But hopefully it starts to become, more normal to charge a proper rate for it.
Right.
But I don't know. On the other hand, a part of me does like the tipping thing. I do like to show appreciation and like be able to reward particularly good service. Like, so that is kind of tricky. I do wonder if it'll be a thing where like tipping is much less frequent, but occasionally it'll still happen. Like maybe like a celebrity goes in and does that. Or maybe even where you place the tip, like maybe you place a tip for like on your way out to the host and the host disperses it among everybody, or, you know, some sort of system like that that might get established.
Sure.
Might get established. So
My-
yeah, I don't
my-
know.
My second question to that would be, because, you know, obviously we live in a capitalistic society,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if we go to a service charge system, that in turn will bring down the level of quality, you know, to serving, you know?
Right. So
'Cause,
that's
you know,
a big thing.
Because tipping kind of incentivizes the worker. Hey, if you bring your A game, get some more cheddar here. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
I think people don't realize too, like tipping only came around like 50, 60 years ago. It's not been, it
Really?
wasn't always a thing. Yeah. Tipping wasn't always a thing. It's been around less than a century. So.
Wow. Yeah, I think that is actually something like we had this like a larger conversation about this like at my work when we were kind of transitioning into this system. And right now it's a little bit easier because we're not in the brick and mortar yet, so we don't have servers to kind of like we're not facing that problem head on. We're kind of preparing for that.
Right.
The idea that was presented at the restaurant, which I think is interesting, and I need to learn more about it, is like yes, you want it to be like an equal opportunity for everyone to be able to like make good money, but you want it to like stay competitive and you want to like encourage like a commitment. You want to encourage like hard work and stuff. So, one suggestion that was provided was like, maybe like based on the number of years you worked in a particular position, that might get you a higher base rate pay, which is funded by that service charge. So sorry, I'll back up. So basically the idea is servers might be at different levels of their hourly salary or however you do it, but then the service charge would be kind of funding that. So
Right.
it would be kind of like just a lot of other jobs. So like when I've done marketing jobs, it's like, oh, they look at your experience in the past and then you can negotiate what, your hourly rate or your salary is going to be for that gig based on like your work in the past. So I think that's part of it, because that is the thing. It's like career servers can make a ton of money because they're really good and they've proven it. Whereas like me, like, working at like some random chain, like first year, hardly knowing what I'm doing, I should not be making as much as someone else who's been serving for like a decade, So
Right.
like, I
Right.
feel ideally the base rate, like the hired rate would be a lot different. But it would all be kind of funded by the service charge. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting though. I think it could be like a really good like transition in how people do it. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, actually, one more question relating to all
yeah.
that. So, I'm curious because, like you were saying before, like in the tip-based system, the restaurant, the bar, what have you, they
Yeah.
would charge less for the food, the drink, whatever, because what it takes to make that go out is gonna cost less because they're not paying that server as much.
Right.
So they bring the service charge up to like cover all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wonder how much that changes for the overhead for the establishment. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like how much of a change would be for establishment as far as overhead if they bring the service charge system in? Because it have to be significant,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? Would it be
Well,
significantly more? I would think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not sure.
Maybe.
It's your
So
industry.
Well, yeah, I think if I understand what you're saying, I think it would be like technically, yes, their overhead would cost more because there'd be more money going to the employees and everything. But in theory, that additional money would be coming from the customers, who I think probably are used to not paying the actual market value for a lot of their restaurant experiences. So I think
Right.
that the restaurant might not necessarily, if it's done right, the restaurant who's doing the service charge actually might not take the hit for it because they've adjusted how they charge the customers. But again, that's where it gets confusing, because it's like, if you have and I have this too, it's like if I have a perception in my head of like, a $20 pizza should be this big and this delicious, and the ambiance should be like this, and all those factors, right? Like that idea of what I have, it might have to change. Like I might have to now pay $25 for the same amount of food in the same building and the same experience. So there's like a whole adjustment that comes, especially for people who are like very budget sensitive or like trying to figure out how to like save money. Like it's going to be a transition, you know?
That leads to my last question, which is
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions.
No, I love it.
Leads to my last question is, do you think the American public will accept and embrace service charge economy, or do you think they'll be like, nah, bro, let's go back to the tip system. I don't want to pay that much up front.
Man, I don't know.
Because I know I'd embrace the service charge system. I would embrace it wholeheartedly, but I'm not sure if everyone else
I wonder. I honestly would love to hear what our listeners think about that, because I think that could be really interesting to like hear other people's perspectives. I think
Put in the comments, guys.
Yeah, please. Honestly, I would love to hear that. I know it's something like versions like this have been tried in the past, and so it can be really difficult to. I mean, in general, it's hard to keep a restaurant going in the first place. Like, it's hard to run a successful restaurant.
Very much
Again,
so.
part of that is because I think a lot of restaurants are run or have a ton of creatively minded people who are probably a little bit more like, who probably find it difficult to ask for what they're worth, essentially, in a monetary sense, like, negotiate properly for themselves. So, and also I think part of the reason it's hard to run a restaurant, one of the reasons is like, you're in a creative field in a lot of ways. So it's like, it's almost like the best song in the world, or the most popular song a decade ago, might not be the most enjoyed song today. It's like, it was still a good song, but the art, taste change and art changes. So it's like, how do you like have a type of art that's so personal that can like keep going? And so like restaurants will make adjustments, like seasonal menu changes or whatever. But like, how many restaurants are around for like, I don't know. I mean, I would have to look it up. Like, how many restaurants are around for a decade? Like, I don't know. And you probably have to do a lot of changes just to keep the people interested, like express in different ways, figure out like a different way to like, express yourself through food. I think it could be accepted. I think tipping can be really confusing. I think the main problem would just be like, it'd be a couple things. It'd be like, one, what about when, like one instance that comes to mind is like, well, what about someone who would like to tip beyond the service charge and provide that extra? Like, would that even still happen? Like, would they tell the servers they weren't even allowed to accept it? Like, is there any way that you could still allow tipping, but just not have it be the norm? So I feel like that would be one thing. And then like the other thing is like, are people willing to pay enough? Like, are people willing to actually see how much it actually costs to run a restaurant? And I don't know if they are. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think it's really interesting though.
Yeah.
I have a fun, just totally change of pace. We've talked about this space, but I have a fun hair announcement. I sent the text in the DM in the group chat, sent it to the family chat, sent it all over.
Listen, you're gonna get me worked up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
My male pattern baldness has officially begun, y'all. A little bit here and a little bit there. According to the dermatologist, it's begun.
If you're watching this on YouTube right now, I want you to right now. Ken, I want you to lean forward to the camera.
Yeah.
I want everyone to screenshot this. Screenshots Kenny's hair, and tell us if you think he's balding.
No,
he's not.
So it's on that.
He's clearly not.
It's just begun. It's very mild. It just started.
It's called a widow's peak.
So no, it's not. It's not that. I don't have a widow's peak. So there's a tiny bit there, and a tiny bit over back here. But yeah,
you're bugging.
I've started per the dermatologist's recommendation.
Then what's this?
Dude, well, that might be a tad of male pattern baldness. I don't know, dude.
No, it's not.
Well, me and you both have large foreheads. This is one of the ways that we bond, I think.
Yeah, but Ken, come on now. Stop it.
I'm celebrating it, dude. I started the Rogaine this week.
No, you didn't.
That off. I did, per the dermatologist's recommendation. I did.
Ken, you're not balding.
Dude, it's happening. It has begun. And now it might be super slow, but it's happened.
You got nothing going on the top. The top is good. Right here, it's way back. It's not. It wouldn't go back at all. It's just the same place.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Now, if you want to say your hair's thinning, I'm with you. But balding, no, you're not balding. No.
So male pattern baldness. I mean, technically it is male pattern baldness, but I think it might just be something where it's like the number of hairs might be thinning. It might not actually be technically receding yet.
It's not. It's definitely not receding.
Yeah, I don't really know. No. I've been celebrating. This is something I've been afraid of for forever, and so I've just been like doing everything I can to like embrace it, celebrate it. The night I found out, I made myself a feast. I made myself like a salmon dinner feast. I got a recipe from Bon Appetit from one of my favorite chefs on there. Like celebrated that. Sent text to everybody celebrating it. It's been good, and I've slowly been like less stressed about it.
Before I continue, I want you to explain to me why you're so excited about this. Because I don't understand your excitement. I need you to explain your excitement to me.
Because I would rather celebrate like the changes than be afraid of it. Like I was afraid of balding when I was like 11, dude. Like when I was 11 years old, I vividly remember like I thought I was balding, and I sprinted up the stairs and like I looked in the mirror and was like,
Caillou? Come on.
I thought it was fucking Caillou, and I was like looking in the mirror like, oh my god, I think it started. Like, and I would have a moment like that. Yeah. No joke. Like every like 6 to 12 months from when I was 11 until till today, until like, you know, maybe like
today.
It happens. So now I'm just like, fuck it. I'll do the dermatologist recommended thing. I'll know what's going on, and then I'll just celebrate it, and I'm not gonna like be bummed out about it, because if I didn't do all this, I feel like I might be bummed out about it.
Do you want to know why I'm upset at you?
Why are you upset?
So, I refuse letting my friends be mediocre. Okay, we're not accepting your male pattern baldness. Number one. Number two, you need to fire this doc because you're not going bald. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So that's number two. Number three.
So you don't accept the MPB?
I refuse to accept it. Number three. Mm-hmm. Listen.
Yeah.
We have to be perfectly honest, and I'm telling you this as your friend because I love you, and I want to be honest with you. Yeah. You would look fucking awful with a bald head. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. You can't be Bruce Willis and pull it off.
This is the negativity.
You can't be a Bill Burr, pull it off. You can't be a Charlemagne, pull it off. No, it's not happening.
I don't know, dude.
Kenneth Patrick Martin II cannot pull off a bald head.
Dude, maybe you're right. Only time will tell, man. Only time will tell.
Unless you get a nice big belly and you become a Bill Burr, it's not happening. Okay.
Bill Burr doesn't have a belly. He's like pretty fit. Now. Does he?
Yeah, man. He's old. He's almost 60.
I guess so.
Here's the thing.
I guess so.
You would look awful bald, especially in your 20s. In your mid-20s, you look awful if you're bald. We're not doing this. I'm not going out to a bar with you trying to talk to girls. Like, here's my bald friend Kenny. Oh, is he 45? Goodness. No, he's fucking younger than me. We're not doing that.
Goodness.
We're not doing that. We're not doing. I refuse. We're not doing this.
See, this is the negativity.
It's not negativity. I want the best for you. I want you to get married. You're not getting married if you're bald. I'm just being straight up.
God damn, dude.
So here's the deal. Dude. Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm. Please.
I'm also concerned that this Rogaine, Propecia shit, wherever you're doing, is going to backfire. I think we're making the call too early.
How so?
I think you need to wait till it's like significant, where it's like, oh, it's actually like starting.
Because
I'm afraid it's going to backfire.
See, I'm I've been wondering about that, but the dermatologist was like, if I were you, this is what I would do. Like he was like, it was a good thing that we noticed it so early.
All right, man. I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm not a hair doctor, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Dude,
but
I will say this though: the guy has, he was like inspecting, and like the man has the softest fingers I've ever felt in my entire life. The guy, like, I don't know if I trust a guy with that soft of fingers. So you might be onto something here.
But does he have soft hair?
I mean, he had hair. I don't know if it was soft.
Was he balding?
I don't think so. No, I mean,
like
it might be.
Full head hair?
I think he had like fine hair, but it seemed like he had a full head. Yeah.
Because if he has one hair missing, fire him. Fire him. No, we're not doing this.
I was thinking about that. Think if you're a dermatologist and you have like a huge breakout of acne, or
He's
you just
on you.
or
Nah,
or
bruh.
anything like that. Like it's
Nope.
how it would be really hard to like stay in business, wouldn't it?
It's like going to a trainer that's fat and out of shape.
Yeah.
Nah, bruh. Why people are wondering? People always ask me why you have to work out so much. Because goddamn it, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. If I'm lifting more than my athletes, then why should I listen to me?
Right. Yeah.
Why should they listen to me? If I can do the same weights as they can, no.
Right.
So that's what I'm wondering. Does this doctor you went to, does he
Yeah.
have a full head of hair? Is there a hair missing?
As far as I could tell, he has a full head of hair.
Okay, well that makes us feel better. Because if he had
But
some hair
those
missing,
soft hands, though, dude, I don't know. That's where I was like, dude, these are like pillows. I don't know if I can trust a guy with pillows for hands.
yeah, I mean, you can have I have kind of soft hands, but I have like rough calluses on my hands too, so kind of balance each other out.
Yeah.
But if you have just like really soft hands as a man,
Dude, they were like clouds. I couldn't believe it.
slight red flag.
But anyways, dude, I wanted to celebrate it on the show. I wanted just to get it out there.
We're not
and say it.
celebrating. We're putting it into
I'm
this shit.
celebrating.
I'm
You can
over
do
it.
whatever you want.
I will say though, Andrew Schultz said the same thing. Like he was going bald around the same time how old we were. He got in the Propecia right away, and now he's a full head of hair, and he's
really?
great. So maybe it's a good thing you get ahead of it. Maybe I'm
I don't
wrong.
know. I don't know, dude. I didn't know that about him. That's interesting.
Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to Kenny's terrible rants about his hair.
Yes.
I appreciate you listening. Guys, at Cooking Coach Pod on Instagram, Cooking Coach TikTok, The Cooking the Coach on YouTube.
Yup.
You know me, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Baeza Tensaya. You guys know where to find me. Ken, give him what you got.
So you can follow my food page. So it's Haymarket Pantry, at Haymarket Pantry on Instagram and TikTok. You can also look it up on YouTube. There's a page. There's nothing on there yet, but hopefully there will be soon. Also, I have a music page, Kenny Martin Music, same deal, at Kenny Martin Music on Instagram and TikTok. And there's also a YouTube page. Check those out. I am working on some fun stuff right now, particularly with music, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, follow those pages just to like see what's like coming up with all of that.
Guys, that is the episode. Thanks again for listening. We will see you next time.
Peace.